Hello, everyone. So, today I'm here to give you a brief idea about software design. So, the design as a word, we can use it as a noun and verb. So, in noun we can quote the outcomes of the design as the noun, and verb can be the activity which will be going through for designing the product. So design is basically, in software engineering perspective, design is basically to design the product. It could be the user interface design, or it could be the table design, or it could be anything that is going to come into picture into your product. So this begins with a set of requirements. So if it is a UI design, user interface design, so definitely it has to start off with some set of requirements, and these requirements we will be collecting from our customers or whoever is the end user. They will be providing the requirements, and these set of requirements will be refined. We will the whoever is doing the design will be refine it and will make sure that we give the best design possible. So this stage phase always start with a requirement set of requirements, and designing phase is always implemented before the implementation of the uh, coding, or the product coding starts. Before this is done, we will go do the design, and then we will refine that there are different phases for designing. So once all the phases are over, we'll have a perfect design in with us, and from the design we will start with the final coding or developing of the product. And so when it is concerned about the software development life cycle, the planning phase is over. So design is as soon after your planning phase, design phase will come. So during the planning phase, we will decide what to go with, what software we are going to use. All those things will be fixed uh, during the planning phase, and once that is done, you will be able to go with the designing. So once everything is set, we can move on to the designing phase. And the final result of this phase is the design as it is. And basically these are some few keywords. We will be discussing about few keywords that is going to come into picture when we are talking about software product design. So the first keyword I would like to introduce to you is modularity, uh, and another one is abstraction. So as you can see in the picture, three pictures I have given. The first picture, you can see all components. So for example, all this dots are representing the components of your software products, final software product. And these components in one single space, it is actually independent. They are all lying independently. There's no connection between each other. Then that means there is no modularity. So we are actually creating one single thing wherein we have several components. So it is that concept when we are talking about modularity. So here in the first picture, you can see that there is no modularity at all, because all are independent. Individually they are existing, there is no connection between each other. And the second picture, we can see some few boxes, same first picture itself, but there are some few boxes inside that first picture. So here you can see it is a representation of modularity with abstraction. So what are we trying to say here? We are trying to group the components, same thing only. So we have a problem space and we have identified several components, and if your problem is going to be treated with modularity, then you're going to group the components together, maybe with respect to the way they have been represented, or with respect to the you know the with respect to the characteristic of the component. So based on some aspects, some attributes, you are going to group the components together. And once you group it, there can be we can say that there is a presence of modularity in your problem space. So you can see, if you take the first rectangle in here, you can see three dots lying here. So here, what does it mean? So these three components are, we are grouping those module, and we are trying to call it as one module, the first module, where we have three components. So there can be relationship between these components. They'll be communicating with each other. They'll be sharing information between each other. So this is one module. So second module, you can see one, two, three, four, five dots. So these are five different components which is combined together to form your second module, and like that it goes on. So this is modularity with abstraction. So I'll come to abstraction. First, we will try to understand what is modularity, and then we will come back to abstraction. So I'm just going to the last picture, that is modularity without abstraction. So I'll try to differentiate what is modularity with abstraction and without abstraction. So here also you can see, it's not. As simple as the second module. We are grouping components together. For example, if you take this, if you follow this path, see here, you can see I have three components: the first component, second component, and third component as, sorry, fourth component as one module. So here, what are we trying to say here? It is modularized but not very clear. So modularity is being obtained, but there is no abstraction. But in the second picture, you can see there is modularity with abstraction. So you know that this particular component belongs to one module, and it does not have to do anything with the other module, so that you know. So here in the second picture, you have modularity without abstraction. Okay, so I'll just try to define a modularity. So it is actually breaking a very huge problem into small parts, and we are trying to solve the smaller problems, and then we are going to combine the individual problems, modularized problems, so that we get the entire one single solution for the entire big problem. So that is what modularity is. And abstraction is, we are actually dividing uh, uh, these pieces lies interpiece boundaries, meaning that the piece function with few to no assumptions about the functionality of other modules. So we have different components inside my module, but I don't know what is happening, or module 1 doesn't have to do anything with the module 2. Okay, so that is modularity with abstraction and modularity without abstraction. So here you can see, Uh, so for example, I can see some components which is lying inside your problem. So I have one problem which is being divided into modules. So here it is very specific. First module is having three components, second module is having five components, the other one is having six components. So I clearly know what is my sub problem. Here also I'm dividing, but inside the sub problem also I have few uh, minute problems, which does not have to do anything with the parent problem. So that is what modularity without abstraction. Here you have clear abstraction. So I know these all things falling into one place. There is no relationship between this components in the first module and second module. Here what happens is, I may have component which does not have to do anything with the other components. That is modularity without abstraction. And we have few levels in design process. We can say that the different levels as architectural design, high level design, and detailed design. And architectural design is actually to identify the components which is really required for the whole execution of the software, and the relationship between those components. And this high level design is actually something called a single entity multiple component design. So I'll have one entity wherein I'll have more different components which will be communicating with each other, and all the subsystems will be having some connection with each other, and we know that the relationship very clearly, what they are interacting, what information they are passing, all those things are very clear in the high level design. And the detailed design is implementation uh, of, of what we have seen in the subsystems and the main systems. So that is detailed design about individual component level design. So these are the levels in design. So I hope you understood what is the what is the concept of modularity, abstraction, and the different levels of design. So thank you for watching. Thank you so much.